Are you troubled by tanks? Do the pests get in your foxhole, mess up your bivouac, or menace your installations? Well, your worries are over. Your favorite store, the Screaming Eagle Hardware Company, USA, first with the best, has done it again. The newest and best tank eradicator on the market, the M10 Tank Destroyer, guaranteed, and I do mean guaranteed, to blast the last swastika off any tank she meets. Easily accommodating its crew of 5, the new M10, affectionately known as the Little Beauty, handles with the ease of a kiddie car. And with her new improved bogies, rough terrain becomes smoothest highway. Durable as a rhinoceros, the destroyer can crawl down a cliff like a fly on the side of a building. And how is she in water? Why, gentlemen, the Little Beauty might well be called the M10 Duck. Power? Watch her twin diesel engines pull her up this 28-degree grade with no track drowsers. Just picture yourself in the TD cruising along this road. Sudden death to the Mark 6 Tiger, the German tank pest now extinct in North Africa. Maximum speed, 32 miles an hour. Easy steering with clutch brakes. 200 miles to the tank full. Notice the ease with which she's buttoned up for action. The smart zipper covers on the gun are yours at no added cost. And still another extra is the manual firing bar. Every man in a TD is a happy man. Why, who wouldn't be happy at the shooting end of the powerful 3-incher? The gun turret revolves in a complete circle, turned by a traversing wheel even your sister could operate. And here's a feature we're especially proud of. Front and side periscopes for easy visibility. Firing the gun is a pleasure you won't want to miss with our new automatic breech block and the simple firing device. The M10 is a paragon of accuracy, and the shells, also manufactured by the Screaming Eagle Hardware Company, will pierce the thickest armor plate. Don't wait. Get your M10 Tank Destroyer today. That's spelled T-A-N-K-D-E-S-T-R-O-Y-E-R. Tank Destroyer. You can't go wrong with the Little Beauty. Guaranteed to make any tank curl up its tracks and die. If you don't believe us, ask the man who didn't own one, General Erwin Rommel of Berlin, Germany. See you're right, your supply sergeant today. Immediate delivery is assured.
Hi, Ted. What do you say, boy?
How are you doing?
Oh, good to see you.
Sure good to see you, too.
Meet Captain Ted Lawson and Captain Dean Davenport of the Army Air Corps. You may have heard something about a little flight they made last year. They were pilot and co-pilot in one of those B-25s which took off from the deck of the Hornet and delivered a basket of eggs to Tojo.
Sure great to see you again, Ted.
Yeah, it was good to see you too, Dean. Say, did you ever get married when you came back here to the States?
No, not me, Dad.
I thought you were in that hospital in China. You were always saying when you first got back to the States you were going to get married first.
I was in China, Ted. Things are a little different here.
You're not fooling, they really are. I didn't think we'd ever make it.
Say, remember that crash we had out there on the beach then?
That's no fooling.
That was a little rough. Never heard so much noise in my life.
No, it really was. Hasn't been so terribly long ago, though, really just a little over a year. 79 men and 16 planes on that ship waiting for the moment to take off for Tokyo. Funny we weren't more nervous. It was almost as if we were going on a regulation training flight. Remember the day Doolittle tied that Jap medal on a bomb? The guy who sent it in said we should return it with interest. And we did. It was on our plane, wasn't it? I think so. Maybe it was a bomb that blew that steel smeller to smithereens. Ted, I still don't understand why our motors conked out on us after we left Tokyo. We checked and rechecked those planes every day. Well, those B-25s weren't made for the ocean, Dean. The salt in the air must have gotten our carburetor jet. someplace along the line.
Did you ever exercise with those Navy guys, Ted?
You're darn right. And every time I ran around that flight deck, it seemed like it'd be too short for a pigeon to take off from. But Doolittle said it could be done, and he was right.
Yeah, the morning of the takeoff, he looked like a man without a worry in the world.
A great guy. I'll never forget that morning.
April the 18th, 9:50 a.m.
Saturday. We were still 400 miles away from where we were supposed to take off because that Jap patrol boat we ran into.
The only rations we had time to put in the plane were a dozen candy bars and cigarettes.
Remember what you said to me, Dean, as we sat in the plane? It looks like we got ourselves into a hell of a mess.
And you said this is a hell of a time to think of a thing like that.
Doolittle's plane went first. It all had been planned out on paper, but this was the first real test. The first time anyone tried to boost a land plane that size off the deck of a carrier.
The extra load of gasoline and bombs didn't help either.
I was pushing that plane in the air for all I was worth. Who wasn't?
I sure had a bad case of the jitters when our turn came. Remember, I forgot to put down those flaps.
Hell, it was my fault as much as yours. I should have checked. We were all jittery. That flight deck was short. The ocean was like a roller coaster.
We all made it. That's what counts.
One trip I'll never forget, Ted.
Nobody will forget it, Captain. And we won't forget the pilots on the raid who were captured by the Japs. And we aren't forgetting how some of them, we don't know how many, were murdered in cold blood. General Arnold, Chief of the Army Air Force, has given the answer for all of us.
My message is to all personnel of the Army Air Forces. In violation of every rule of military procedure and every concept of human decency, the Japanese have executed several of your brave comrades who took part in the first Tokyo raid. Those men died as heroes. We must not rest. We must redouble our efforts until the inhuman warlords who committed this crime have been utterly destroyed.
Welcome to Camp Atterbury, boys. But boys is hardly the word for these members of the United Automobile Workers Union who've asked to come out here for 3 days to live with the men they're making weapons for, and to take a crack at the kind of training their friends and sons and brothers are getting. They get the old reception center workout with the medics, with the supply line, stuff that fits, stuff that doesn't fit, fatigues, long-handled drawers. For them, the works. It's a ragged-looking body of citizens on a hike, but one of those gents might have made your bomb sight, so don't throw rocks at them. Maybe they can make bayonets, but they've got a lot to learn about handling them. Incidentally, that elderly character sneaking off the edge of the Trick Bridge has 7 children, but this toggle rope proposition isn't much like walking across Brooklyn Bridge. That's an expert spot welder taking a break in the pool. The pearl diver is a 4-star man with machine tools. And these part-time recruits making up beds for Saturday morning inspection are the guys who wire the instrument panels on bombers. And now the guys in ODs return the call to take a look at what's new in Detroit. Tanks and planes coming off the assembly lines, faster, better, more. 100,000 planes already and still more on the way. And these soldiers from Camp Atterbury are impressed by the precision and the power of the men and machines that now make Detroit a 24-hour town. And so the worker and the soldier exchange shop talk about their jobs and get to call each other by their first names. Does it do any good? Well, listen to what one of the Detroit men had to say about his visit to Atterbury.
This war is going to be won with plenty of guts and plenty of sweat. The boys in the armed services have plenty of guts, and we on the production front have got to give them plenty of sweat to back them up.
That's a German sub. a German torpedo. That was an Allied supply ship. Those are British, Dutch, Norwegians, Americans. And this is a shore, New York, USA, and a place for those same guys to hang their hats. Their Merchant Seamen Club, founded by the British actress Constance Collier, just for them. Only seamen in active service can get past the doorman and into the game rooms to play cards and have laughs with Hollywood and Broadway stars, who nightly conspire to make their seafaring friends forget what's behind and ahead, and they get it for free.
Say, fellas, I just want to say that Soglo, the caricaturist, you know, the creator of the famous Little King, well, Mr. Soglo is at the food bar, and he wants to draw pictures of any of you men, and we'll send the pictures home for you.
Isn't that wonderful? Does it look just like him? Well, come on now. Who's next to have his picture drawn? Mr. Soglo will do any man in the place.
This is quite a nice change from drawing merchant seamen.
I am a merchant seaman.
What?
Yes, I am a third mate on a Russian boat and just as much a merchant seaman as any of them.
How do you do, Miss Orlikova? Mr. Soglo, this is Miss Valentina Orlikova of the Soviet Merchant Marine.
How do you do?
What do you do?
Oh, I'm awfully sorry I'm late. I'm supposed to meet that Russian girl. Oh, I'm Shirley Booth. Projalesta to the Merchant Seamen's Club. Projalesta, skadjeta, nieskolko slav tovarisham. I just asked Miss Orlikova to say a few words to you boys. I said it in Russian.
I know you from the radio, Miss Booth. You are Miss Duffy on Duffy's Tavern? No?
Yes.
I laugh very much.
Oh, you did? Oh, that's wonderful. And would you say a few words to the boys now?
It is funny. I am at ease on my boat, but I am nervous here.
Oh, no, don't be nervous.
Are you married?
Yes, I am. My husband is third mate like me. He is a good boxer, too.
There's one thing I was wondering about. Don't you have a lot of trouble? I mean, a woman officer in charge of men. Don't you have difficulty asserting your authority?
That is what I was trained for. I went in Leningrad to the Marine Engineering School. It is there I met my husband.
You Russian women make me feel kind of helpless.
There is no difference, except that we have the enemy closer. That gives us bigger reasons to fight for our children, our homes.
Yes, you have a baby, haven't you?
A son, 2.5 years old. He is in a town the Nazis have occupied. He is one of the big reasons.
Boys, do you realize that Miss Orlikova has been standing watch on our boat until 8 o'clock tonight?
That's tough. I was going to ask her to dance.
Oh, I am not too tired for that.
Come on. You know, that's the first time I've danced with a third mate.
Okay.
Come on.
APO 1634, San Francisco, California. Dear Lou, your letter hit me in Australia just before we hopped a northbound choo-choo for New Guinea. I would have answered, but most of my free time's used up writing Phyllis. Believe me, boy, I miss her like hell. I miss the whole damn town, you included. But recently, we finished up our job at Buna, so we're getting a couple days breather. Incidentally, excuse the spots, it's raining, and the drops is leaking down my arm. The whole New Guinea thing has been something, Lou. Call it a experience. That's a tolerable word, I guess. Right from the start, when we come off the boat at Port Moresby, I knowed something was up. No waiting around, stalling like usually. Right off, we hit the timber. And from 1 hour after we left till right now, right in you, it's been jungle. Jungle, just like in books. And when we come up near Jap territory, you couldn't help getting itchy about that thick green wall. Every second you wonder, maybe a Jap's hanging in that tree, hiding in those bushes, ready to pop you off. No roads, nothing like Elm Street or Vine Drive. Out here we had to make them ourselves. Some sort of road to support the heavier stuff when it moved up. They're funny-looking things made with logs, like tracks. Most of the time they work okay. But the roads and them trails through the jungles was no good for supplies. Most of what we needed had to come by air. Whenever we hit a clearing, maybe a little jungle village, up they come from Malsby. Big transports in a kind of delivery service like Frescani's grocery wagon to home, only bigger. In they'd zoom, a couple 100 feet up, scaring the pants off the bush boys, and scattering food and ammunition, medical stuff around like a Elks picnic out at the Dells. Japs had been through a few weeks before, going backwards. So them guys done all they could for us before we pushed on, chasing the Japs. We kept knocking the Japs back and back until we got them bunched up on the beach at Buna, in Buna Mission. It was a little different out there on the sand. Japs was hidden in the jungle, close by. But Yank scouts pushed up and up that beach. The rest of us hanging back, with 37s and 30s, pumping lead into the jungle, cover for them guys up ahead. We were scared, Lou. Scared like hell. Couldn't help it. But still, our guys kept it going, inching up that beach, scared or no scared. Right up to the end, the Japs fought, fierce and tough, believe me. But I don't know, with them it's like animals, like the header, different from us. Dead ones didn't seem sorry they was dead much, and live ones seemed dumb, plain dumb. That outfit of theirs don't want them to live for anything particular, just wants them to starve and die for it. Not asking any questions about what they're dying for. When they did live, they didn't seem too happy about it. Seeing them poor, thin Japs give me a pretty fair idea why we're fighting against what they stand for. The difference between the Jap ball club and the American. I'm running out of paper, so just one more thing. The Aussies, like you asked about. Well, I reckon there's more like Americans than some of us, Lou. Good swearing, good living, good guys with a fight in them like tigers and a hell of a sense of humor. They got the same feeling about Japs we got, only more. Big difference between them and us is their hats. And the fact they've been out here longer than we have. For a long time, you know, it was their own show. And they'd hit plenty of trouble, plenty of casualties. Even then, natives was helping them, carrying a stream of wounded back from the front, which they done regular. The whole thing's been no dancing party. No point trying to fool about that. New Guinea ain't no garden spot, and them Japs shoot pretty straight. But hell, rain or no rain, Japs or no Japs, us guys out here figure we got a war to win. So when you tell about me back home, tell everybody, us out here is in good hands, fighting good, side by side with good guys right up to the top, General MacArthur and General Blamey. And all of us gonna get this over quick as we can.